My family and my people taught me about my Aboriginality and about me being an Australian. I have never needed a separate voice based on the colour of my skin. I'm Nyunggai Warren Mundine. I was born in Grafton in 1956 on the land of the Bundjalung people in northern New South Wales. I'm a descendant of the Bundjalung, Gumbaynggirr, Yuin and Irish people, and I'm one of 11 children of Roy and Dolly Mundine. Growing up in Grafton in the 50s and 60s, it was a different world in the sense that it was still under the New South Wales Aborigines Protection Act, it was still under the New South Wales Aboriginal Welfare Board. But at the same time, Grafton was one of these places where, we went to school together, Aboriginals and non-Aboriginals. We worked together. I got 7 brothers, plus myself was 8. We used to go out hunting, we used to go out fishing. It was, a really nice time having the freedom of the bush. My old house there, if you look at it, you see that second window there. That wasn't there before. That was the veranda, and that's where us boys slept. 8 of us slept on that veranda. 3 girls in the other room, and my parents in that one there. So it was a pretty crowded house, but it was a lot of fun. We used to sleep four to a bed, us boys, and that. It was a very carefree, happy life that we lived here. My parents, they made sure that we were going to get a full education, and that was their rule. This is where it started, and my parents used to get us to come to school every day, make sure we were here, getting educated. They really wanted us to make sure we had that because that opened doors. It was the key to open those doors for jobs, or you wanted to build a career for yourself. When we moved to Sydney in the mid-60s, I went to a Catholic school in Auburn, and Auburn was a very multicultural area. Unlike Grafton, which is just black and white, Sydney you had Italians and you had Greeks and you had Lebanese, and you had all these different groups of people. And having that world open up to me and realising that I'm part of this incredible world, that and the importance of my parents installing in us that we weren't victims, we could grasp life with our own hands, made a huge impression on me. My parents either had to be working or learning or doing both. There was no other thing. You just couldn't sit around and do nothing. So I used to be a trolley boy. I used to unload the trucks, put them on trolleys and move them around and stack things and that. And then they said, okay, we'll give you an apprenticeship. So I got an apprenticeship as a fitter and turner. Went to TAFE at night and then sat for the exams to get to university. And I got into university. I went to the South Australian Institute of Technology in Adelaide, which is now the University of South Australia, and I did community development and business. I was interested in politics and that, and then I ran for Dubbo City Council at the time. I was the first Aboriginal elected on Dubbo City Council. Everyone thought Dubbo was a redneck town and all that. But I started writing articles for newspapers about how we really got to focus back on getting education, getting people into jobs, and the only way you can do that is have businesses operating that are commercial and private and make money, that hire people and do things. So it wasn't rocket science, it was just pretty simple, straightforward stuff. But everyone thought it was quite interesting that this Aboriginal bloke come out and was saying these things about how you need to change and get things to happen. So working with that and then being president of the Labor Party gave me a lot of influence in that. I've done the lowest paid jobs, the hardest labouring jobs, and I've worked in factories, and I've worked in pipelines, I've worked at corporate levels and every level of management that you can think of. President of the Labor Party, got involved in Aboriginal politics, and I look back and I see that I've achieved all these things. It's not because I had a voice, it was because my parents taught me things at a very young age about what I needed to do and aspirations. And it taught me that you can come from the most marginalised group of people and you can still be success. And I learnt that from migrants who come to this country and worked hard, and they just had to do their own thing. They didn't have someone who helped them, there was no voice, they just did it. I learnt from my parents and I just did these things. And I've seen this done with a lot of other Aboriginal people and a lot of other migrants and other people who come to this country, and how they have got up, decided they weren't going to be victims, decided that they had to make their life better, decided they wanted to make a life better for their children and their grandchildren, and to install in them that you're in charge. No one else can do anything for you. You have to take command and do it. And I see that as the only way forward for anyone. You've got to get an education, be a participant in the economy, get a job, run a business, and work your way up, or just be happy with what you're doing. I see people who are cleaners, I see people who are CEOs of companies and chairmen of boards. I see a wide range of people, and I love them because they're actually working. They're doing something for themselves, and I love every one of them. And for us, this is what I want to see for Aboriginal people. The only person who can better your life is not the government, it's not the voice, it's you. You're the only person who makes the difference. Authorised by Nyunggai Warren Mundine, Australians for Unity, Canberra.